my boob's now wired, so excuse me. My name's Jess. I run the Travelling Suitcase Library, which is currently at the back of the hall. And today I would like to talk to you about one of my heroes. Well, 12 of my heroes, in fact. These are the Luddites of West Yorkshire. Ready? Thank you. In times of financial pain and hardship, it's good to remember that it's not always been like this. Next, it has been always like this. And I'm going to talk to you a bit about the people who tried to do something about it about 200 years ago. I believe personally that the 12th of April should be a national holiday, especially in Yorkshire, because of this man. This is Ned Ludd. He was the leader of the Luddites. Now, the Luddites came originally from Nottinghamshire, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's boring. I'm just going to focus on the Yorkshire types because they're fun. Now, the Luddites originated from the old factories systems of the cottage factory system, where everybody has their own little shops and they do their own little things in order to make the finished product. And the Luddites that we're concentrating on today came from the croppers. Now, this is a cropping shop. The croppers cropping the massive shears, and they need big manly hands to crop them, to finish the wool off, to make the wool into the bounds that you recognise from such films as North and South and what have you. And the Luddites in Yorkshire, at the time, came from this man's shop, John Wood's cropping shop. Now, why did they come here in the first place? Well, 1812, you've got a war on, which means taxes have gone up. There's no food because of the war. There's no food anyway because of massive hailstorms. The tax is going up anyway because even though this is all happening. And then the machines come, these massive machines come and take away 80% of people's jobs. Does it sound familiar? These are the Luddites smashing the machines with their vengeful Enoch hammers. And this is what the authorities wanted to do about it. They wanted them to grass them up. You can't see them this because it's very far away. But here it says, any persons who actively engage in rioting, who will impeach his accomplices upon conviction, receive the same reward, 50 guineas. That's a hell of a lot of money. That's about half a year's wage. So in places like Noah's Ark in Egypt and Hightown, which is about 80 miles that way, these Luddites were setting up business, coming together and trying to work out what they could do to prevent their livelihoods being destroyed, to prevent their families from starving to death, because there's no food, there's no jobs. And they all came together and they all sang songs and they all waved flags, and then they sat around pubs and got pissed, like all leftists do. And this is one of their songs. This is the Cropper Lads, the Cropper Lads of High Renown. I don't know the tune. I have tried to research the tune, but it's failed miserably. This is Haigh House. My name is Jess Haigh, so I decided that in front of you. And this is another place in Yorkshire where the Luddites will meet together to come together to try and figure out what they would do. And they decided in the end to go and smite the mills, to break the machinery, because they figured out that was the best way of getting rid of the problem. Because when you're in trouble, you look for scapegoats. And unfortunately, we all know what scapegoats are nowadays. But back in then, it was the middle class. Because these men were seen as newcomers to the land, and they come and they built the machines and they make an awful lot of money, reaping the profits from the lower man. Now, the Shears Inn is one of the pubs where the Luddites would meet and get pissed and talk about how they were going to change the world. Does that sound familiar? And in February 1812, they had this big meeting, and George Miller stood up and said, we're going to kill them, we're going to kill the bastards, we're going to go and break down the mills, this is all going to happen. So this happened. In Huddersfield, there was a general meeting with the magistrates, merchants, manufacturers, and inhabitants of Huddersfield for the city, and it said, basically, we're going to find these Luddites and we're going to roast them, and we're going to roast them, and we can roast them no more. And they're all going to die hideously, so we're going to get the militia! And this is as good shine as any to have a picture of Sean Bean, dressed as sharp, hideously furry, because it was downloaded yesterday. I love Charlotte, it's beautiful. But basically, in Yorkshire, at the time when we were fighting the French, which meant that half the people were starving because there was no bloody money and no bloody food, half the militia were in Yorkshire. When they should have been fighting the French, it's ridiculous. Anyway, this is the dumb steeple out near Murfield, where I come from. And this is where the Luddites met on the 12th of April. They all banded together in this massive field, in George's Field, and they met together in order to go to this mill, Warford's Mill, which was run by a man called Mr. Cartwright, who was a bastard. And they went to they wanted to kill Mr. Cartwright, break down the machinery, and generally cause havoc. And this, in the dumb steeple, about 15 years ago, there was, oh, this is Waltham's Mill. But in the dumb steeple, about 15 years ago in Murfield, there was this big controversy because they wanted to move the dumb steeple and they wanted to build a motorway instead. And then the local papers gathered round and everybody said, no, you can't do this, this is our history. These people went and killed this mill. Now, I had to get the books from somewhere. I read this while I'm carrying on talking, but one thing. Charlotte Bronte, not Anne, I'm sorry, I'm rubbish. I'm librarian as well, how shameful is that? But anyway, so they all came together and, of course, the militia were in the mill, so they all got shot and loads of them died. And this guy called James Haigh, who again, I decided I'm related to because my name's Jess Haigh, he from Murfield, where the mill was, right, got shot in the shoulder by the militia sliced up by the doctor who treated his wound, and he got hung along with 12 other men for trying to do what was best. And I'm going to just do one thing. I know this is really bad, but I just want to say this thing, because I know that at the moment there's a lot of problems going on, and I know we're all fucked, but this is basically something that I draw a lot of strength from, and it's the song that was on the last one. Fling out the red banner, its fierce front under. Come gather ye, champions of right, and roll round the world with the voice of God's thunder. The wrongs we've a reckon, and it presses to spite. It makes you proud.